Right now, somewhere in the world, a woman is hiding a tampon up her sleeve on the way to the bathroom. She didn't choose that instinct. She inherited it. Because for most of human history, this wasn't just personal, it was public. It was sacred. It was terrifying. And the way your ancestors handled it is far stranger than anything you learned in health class. Let's go back. Not centuries, millennia, 2 million years ago, before language, before fire was tamed, your female ancestors bled too. No pads, no cycles tracked on an app, just blood, and a body that had no way to explain what was happening. Anthropologist Chris Knight has a theory about what happened next. He argues that early human women, noticing their cycles lined up with the moon, began painting themselves with red ochre during menstruation. Not to hide the blood, to announce it. Red ochre, a mineral pigment, found at nearly every early human site archaeologists have dug up. Why paint yourself red on purpose? Knight's theory is bold. He suggests women use this synchronized bleeding as leverage, a collective signal to men: we are unavailable, so go hunt, bring back food, prove your worth. It's called the sex strike hypothesis. Controversial, unproven, but the ochre is real, and it's everywhere in the archaeological record. Now fast forward. Tens of thousands of years later, humans are living in small bands, and a new pattern emerges. One anthropologist spent decades studying this pattern up close. Beverly Strassmann, a researcher at the University of Michigan, lived among the Dogon people of Mali for years, not reading about them, living beside them. She documented something remarkable. Dogon women used a designated menstrual hut, a small building on the edge of the village. When bleeding began, a woman placed a leaf on her doorpost. Then she walked to the hut and stayed there. Not because she was shamed, because it worked. The hut was privacy. It was community. Women bled together, talked together, rested together. Strassmann tracked this practice for over 10 years. She found something the rest of the village didn't fully realize. The hut visits were so reliable, so tied to actual ovulation, that they revealed more about a woman's fertility than any calendar could. Your ancestors didn't have ultrasounds. They had huts. And the huts worked. But not every culture built a hut. Some built a wall instead. In many traditions, menstruating women were kept from touching food, from entering shared spaces, from praying beside others. The word for it varies. The fear behind it doesn't. Blood, unexplained, is frightening. And when something is frightening and misunderstood, humans do what they've always done. They build rules around it. So what did women actually use, physically, to manage the bleeding? Here's where it gets stranger. Ancient Egyptian women are believed to have used softened papyrus, rolled and shaped, tucked in place. The physician Hippocrates, writing in ancient Greece, described something similar. Lint wrapped around a small piece of wood. Read that again. A tampon, documented in writing over 2,000 years ago. In Rome, women reportedly used wool. In parts of Indonesia, vegetable fibers. In Japan, paper, and later, cloth that could be washed and reused. Across every continent, women were solving the same problem, alone, with whatever their environment gave them. No manual, no brand, just necessity, and generations of women passing down a method mother to daughter. Now here's the twist that changes how you should see all of this. For decades, scientists assumed menstruation itself was just biological noise, a quirk of reproduction, nothing more. But researchers studying comparative biology across species found something odd. Almost no other mammals menstruate the way humans do. Not dogs, not cats, not most primates. Only a small handful of species shed their uterine lining like this. Humans, a few bats, elephant shrews. That's nearly it. Why would evolution build something this costly, this visible, this hard to hide, into only a few species on Earth? One leading theory, developed by researchers studying reproductive biology, suggests menstruation exists because the human uterus prepares so aggressively for pregnancy that shedding is actually the safer option when pregnancy doesn't happen. Your body isn't malfunctioning once a month. It's protecting itself. That reframes everything, doesn't it? The thing you were taught to whisper about is actually a sign of one of the most advanced reproductive systems in the animal kingdom. Your ancestors didn't know the biology, but they knew the pattern. They tracked it by moon phase before calendars existed. Some researchers believe early lunar calendars, some of the oldest counting systems ever found carved into bone, may have been used specifically to track menstrual cycles. A bone, notched 28 times, found by archaeologists and debated for years. Counting days? Counting moons? Or counting something else entirely? Nobody can prove it with certainty. But the number keeps showing up. 28 notches? 28 days. Too consistent to dismiss? So think about what you actually inherited. Not shame. That came later, layered on by different cultures for different reasons. Some religious, some purely about controlling information around fertility. What you inherited first was resourcefulness. Ochre, papyrus, wool, huts built specifically to give women privacy and rest. A biological process so unusual that only a handful of species on the planet share it with you. Somewhere between the hut and the whisper, something got lost. The Dogon women didn't hide in that hut. They gathered in it. And maybe the next time you reach for something in your bag on the way to a bathroom, it's worth remembering. You're not managing an inconvenience. You're carrying forward one of the oldest, most quietly engineered survival systems your species ever built. Right now, somewhere in the world, a woman is hiding a tampon up her sleeve on the way to the bathroom. She didn't choose that instinct. But maybe it's time she understood exactly where it came from.